nyana television n'ọkalawa ụnọọlụ Tonimas Nigeria Limited. Ife anyị kpọrọ bụ Tonimas half hour maọbụ ọkalawa ụnọọlụ Tonimas maọbụ oge ndị Tonimas. Ihe na-ata bụ otu ihe. Maka na agwara na Paul na Pauline nọ n'otu ụgbọ. Etu a ka ọ dị Mary nyana Mary ma Esther maọbụ Esther. Nya etu a ka ọ dị. When I say na radio n'oge dịka oge a, ka m jiri aha onye jọkwa MD nke ụnọọlụ Tonimas bụ Chief Linus Azubike Enukeme nwa Chinemelu Onowu eze nne wee na-ekene gị n'oge dịka oge a. Nwa Chinemelu ndemeri nne maka nkwado na redio n'ọkalawa ụnọọlụ Tonimas Nigeria Limited. N'ụtụtụ a anyị ga-akpa maka mkpa ọ dị ime ka akụnụba Nigeria si na otu akụkụ baa na nke ọzọ ma ọ baa gbaa mkpị n'atọ. Ịma na kịta anyị ihe na-akpọ mono economy. Sọọsọ otu akụkụ ka anyị si atụ anya inweta ego n'obodo abụ Nigeria, mana o nwere alaka ndị ọzọ dị na-anye anyị ego. Anyị bịa chọzie anya chekwudo otu akụkụ. Enwere m onye otu na redio n'ọkalawa ụnọọlụ Tonimas nya onye otu m kọb na redio onye ka ọ bụ Jasmine Uchechukwu Ebonam. Ọ nọkwa n'ịka Jasmine keke ime
adị m mma okwu anyị ọnụ keke ime
ịpụtago ụla
mba ụla ka m na-alahụ ụla
maka ụla dịwo n'anya afọ m ụla ka dịwo n'anya
ụla dị m n'anya chọrọ ịga
onye na-anya ya anya ọ dị so dirty and all.
Ọ gị nwa dị dirty sorry I'm on that one.
Ọ dị mma n'ụtụtụ a anyị ga-ekwu maka ya na redio n'oge dịka oge a. Enyi nwere isi na ụlọọrụ Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security wee bịa emesi mụga onye ọ bụ kọdụ ugbu a gere osi n'aka ụlọọrụ Tonimas Nigeria Limited.
Tonimas Nigeria Limited, we dey salute our customers for their patronage. Thank you for believing in us.
Tonimas Group of Companies, the company where you dey trust for material and service. They say thank you to every customer for Nigeria and beyond. As we dey buy our better products and services, we get Tonimas engine oil, Tonimas water, Tonimas aluminum profile, insurance brokerage, and Tonimas haulage where they carry load. Let the sweet us as soon as they come to White Castle Hotel Navy, where enjoyment today nyafo, and you go rest cool with the Tankuna, Daluno, Tonimas Group of Companies.
Thank you for believing in us.
Adịmma demere nne ka ị na-azụrụ mmanụ si n'aka ụlọọrụ Tonimas Nigeria Limited. Mmanụ nwere nkwado NIS nwee asambo mancap. Agwara m gị agwa na anyị ga-ekwu maka mkpa ọ dị ime ka ego Nigeria akụnụba Nigeria si n'otu akụkụ banye n'akụkụ na-abụ maọbụ atọ maọbụ karịa. Kịta Nigeria na ihe a na-akpọ mono economy. Sọọsọ mmanụ ka anyị chekwudo, mana e nwere ihe ndị ọzọ ga-enye anyị ego n'obodo a. Wee kwuo Director Field Office nke ụlọọrụ Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security n'ime Anambra State. Ọkwa Chief no High Chief Atọ Donald Pupa Mbuba ọzọ ọtọrọ mkpa na-aga okwu nri Ọsọfịa mgbogo na mgbada na ala Igbo. Maka na ịchọba ihe etu a ịkpọta onye mara ihe a na-ekwu maka ya n'oge dịka oge a. Ọsọfịa nọ redio ABS n'ọkalawa ụnọọrụ Tonimas. Ọ dị mma. Ịma na isiokwu anyị bụ ịgba mbọ mee ka akụnụba Naijiria si n'otu akụkụ chọtakwala ụzọ ọzọ ga na-enye Naijiria ego. Ịma na abịa kịta enwere ọrụ ugbo nwee ihe si na-ewere apụta mana abịa enegheri anya mgbe si ka mkpụtara na redio n'ọkalawa ụlọọrụ Tonimas. Kedu ka anyị si ga-eme ka akụnụba Naijiria si na otu akụkụ banye n'akụ nke ọzọ n'oge dịka oge a?
Okay, daalụ nna okwu anyị ọnụ. Well, in the first place, oge na-eme introduction, mụnwa bụ ọzọ tọọra mkpa na nri, not agụpụ nri. So it's for the entire nri community. That na ka ị na-reduce, reduce. Okay, having said that, now ibe gbasara economy, like you said, diversifying our economy. There are some aspects and we can achieve properly. So if I'm missing up the most important thing is to draw the meaning to the target audience. Our economy is monolithic, like you said, but if I could be allowed to go a little bit memory lane, prior to the advent of petroleum, because we are non-petroleum-based economy, and that is that the monolithism there is, because we are non-based on petroleum. But in the 60s, before the advent of that petroleum, I think, not just because I'm coming from the agricultural background, but agriculture was the mainstay of Nigerian economy. So if we now want to diversify the economy, we first of all look at the agricultural sector, because they have available areas where our economy will be boosted. And outside that agriculture, when we were small, even in our current affairs, and I go so many minerals that bound in Nigeria. Coal. That coal is still there. Limestone and Calago will come to mind. Tin, I think plateau, then iron ore, then and a lot of other things. Even in still in agri, the killer in the Nanya is also a mineral. That is clay soil. Because the clay soil have several properties that the soil itself use in doing a lot of things like enema wells and most of these things. Because the soil itself, that clay soil, chemically has a lot of chemical and physical properties that can allow it to be turned into products that can satisfy human needs. You have the sesquozides, you have the kaolinites, and some other active ingredients in clay that alone will give us a lot of products. But when you now come to the agricultural area which is my background, can even look at various value chains. For instance, if you go into cassava production, if we are by industrial revolution, you can turn the economy around by investing more in cassava production, in that a lot of byproducts have been generated from cassava. Yes. So for instance, in Kabu, a lot of things in Apota there. Then you can expand it and whatever starch. That starch is for industrial purposes. Bioethanol, which is the fuel, biofuel, can also come from there. But even the leaves itself and the cassava peelings, you use it for production of animal feed. So if you now look at it, for instance, maybe in a large scale, by mechanized farming, government providing machine, tractors, processing machines, and a lot of other things, we find out that alone can salvage the entire country. Either in the advanced country. So we call one agricultural product where the country has comparative advantage. Because you invest properly. Even in terms of even flour production, if you go to places like Israel, they don't have land as we do. But they believe in orchard production. They multiply most of these flowers, they export it. It's giving them money. So in our own case, what we needed is to be serious. If it is 2 or 3 value chains, 3 crops where we have comparative advantage, like we're talking of something like staple crop like that cassava, even the rice, and maybe maize, that alone will take the nation. Or you do putani from even fear, because in that case, if you know that massive production, the youths will be employed. Not only the youths, everybody will be employed. Things are going from. During that time, when agriculture was the mainstay of the economy, from agriculture, I generate 75% of employment for the entire population. And when people are employed, the level of crime and so on will reduce. So these are the things. But from that 60s till as at, according to FAO report, as at 2020, the level of employment being supplied from agricultural engagement around 30-35%. We can at 2025 for below 38%. So even not because of neglect by the government and even some individuals that are not ready invest in agriculture. So now, because oil, but black gold, but then everybody feel an easy way of getting money. Rapidly all these areas. Man, if we can now go back, you will need the government making adequate budgetary allocation. That's to do budgetary allocation. Because in Mobutu 2010, Mobutu Declaration 2010, of which Nigeria and some other countries were signatory to that treaty. So it was entirely agreed that for any country to grow very well, at least 10% of their budgetary allocation should go to agriculture. Presently in the country, Amarana go up to 1%. You come down to our state, you begin to. So these are the areas. We be the foreigner will really call the no, but if we will develop, it's easy.
The American High Chief Ato Mboba. Makanko Nayani, Batatala case again, make ego Nigeria, Snotu, Bana Kozo. Ogo Nigeria na wetos naka unolu Tonimas, Ozi Tonimas Aluminium, Jasmine. Abatazia Joaju nke o nwere na radio na Okalawa Unolu Tonimas apụkwa na Gerenya Bozi.
Tonimas Aluminium Industry for quality roofing services we dey campaign. Tonimas Aluminium Industry for ogbonge roofing services we dey kakaraka campaign. Span aluminium roofing sheet, we get them, my brother. Step test roofing sheet today. Metcopo aluminium roofing sheet, you. Now we dey produce them. Aluminium and wooden nursing corn. We be papa for the job. Stone coated roof tiles, we get them. Bond we get, Milano we get. Chico and etc. Tonimas Aluminium Industry na the answer. We sabi the work.
Tonimas Aluminium Industry, day 4 kilometer 2, Neni Nimo Road, Umuri, Neni. Tonimas Aluminium Industry, now the A to Z for all aluminium products.
We dey campaign.
I kanakwa n'oge Okarawa Unolu Tonimas. Ka mbịakwa maka anyị na-ekwu maka otu a ga-esi diversify economy Nigeria wee na-alụtụzi aka na agriculture. Oge ụfọdụ in recent time anyị na-ekwu maka food scarcity na nni anyị nwere nni a na-akọpụta nara ezi anyị oriri ọzọ imezi export ka a ga-anọzi wee nweta the food security anyị na-achọ. So kedu ka anyị ga-esi as a country enhance or kwanite food security we create more opportunities for exports na Nigeria?
Yes, charity begins at home. We want to GDP. That GDP gross domestic product. I think even a country which will survive, we able to increase and develop their GDP. And that GDP, the value of the total productions, be that agricultural, be that from any other sector, the total value of those available goods and services that a country is able to produce on that GDP. So by doing that, if we increase that our GDP, all the sectors are now low agriculturally, and now increase good production, more food will be in the table. I think nobody will that now the country they go ripe for export. Because the moment it increases, people will be feeding. And we're no surplus. And when that surplus, and when the need for export. And before we know that surplus, in agriculture is a very vulnerable area. If you don't bring in, you only wait a means you preserve some of those products in a water. Even a lot of post-harvest losses. You want to post-harvest, maybe they harvest your cassava. We harvest cassava for after 2-3 days, it will decay. Or by even a cassava glut. So here is where you not preserve. You'll be able to have some on the table. Then you move to export because it is also good. Export. You cannot always say because they did you have where export. But the farmer no mutual to have his own source of income. But not by that export. Oh yeah, farmers are this serious. Many people will leave some of this trading and in most of this market buy into agricultural production because no one copper you can offer out the international market. They give you more money. A competition will come. Instead of being at the market in import to textile material if that need produce agricultural produce and your government assist you may export and we healthy competition. And we are not farable land. They are support both domestic consumption and export. And if I need is to bring the necessary enabling things they need. The moment you wait early, I think we can feed ourselves and still export. Now you have that food security. Because charity begins at home. Obido di anya expand. So I think Nigeria will live any day achieve both without a problem.
Okay. Mana ebe na ebe farmers no. Iche na Nigeria na farmers enough support ha need at this point.
Yeah, okay. They are not giving them, yes, because I support, but not there enough. Most of the time, I say no, we can whatever, like for instance, na each one punu maka agriculture, mechanized agriculture. Yeah, first thing, but any machine. If you go across the states and so many agencies, Amaranamunding were tractor, Oluba was even jogo. We are talking of hectares of course, no tractor. So government, cover both state and federal, and you support those tractors. Then you like even things AG process when we can store the agricultural product. Only store
good storage system.
Bamboo storage system. Then in the areas the farm. For instance, in Anambra, you will not start farming, large-scale farming knowledge. When we find the side Urumba, some part of Aguata, those areas, some part of Fire Melum. The other people will be across Anambra West or Metiti, some of this area. So even a ban that Greek, I want the interior. And then in Yanuva, I'll go to no access road. I by doing that, farmer looks a capital or something, or the only is in Bupute. So take any less money, transport fare to bring out. Always any profit at the Arab. And not spend the more money, be sure. What they Bupute when they use by the time of I look at you find out that profit. A lot of areas.
Oduma during Atomboba, Kisi Yan Kowa, Basara Kisi Game, Kani, Mwego Nigeria, Sino to Akobana and Kozo. Nipazo Tutu Anyapachie, in on Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Dika Director on Anambra State. Kedimeko diretitu nwa na ndi mwe ha na-akpọ agro-allied businesses in Anambra State can join here.
Okay, I need a very well because I twice were not on I knew a database. I knew a record. I knew a record of all the farmers, non Anambra. So kind of generic record. Now having record of farmers in Anambra. Then I will open specific records by using the ditch when they are a fan, for instance, or farmers association. I now collaborate with them, and they are the apex body. Now Chikotandi Olubu. Then outside them, even they are now resan, rice farmers association. I'm a potato farmer, I'm a cassava farmers, even maize farmers association. I've been a livestock. I'm a piggery association. They are pan. Poultry Association of Nigeria. And they are leadership. Some of them were chairman, were other school. I've been even in beekeeping and apiculture because these were some silent areas. All your people be never money. Even a bee farmers association. I'm not in Anambra saying the apiculture. So I and I never interrelate. I know people support. Most times I need butter materials for beekeeping. Can pay free of charge to farmers.
When
processing and so
the Marine Director in Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security in Anambra State. High Chief Ato Pupa Mboba Donald.
Yes.
Kis we go anyu ku na ready. My name High Chief.
Yes.
My name we High Chief, we Low Chief, we multiple chief.
Yes.
You can't promote chief. You can't High Chief.
But high then can multiple. Oh my the level the highness. Oh my the highness.
Ejim aha onolu Tonimas when I can egi makibe run radio n'ụtụtụ a. Kenezie gi Jasmine Ebonam Uche Chukwu. Uge benaja. Ugobe naja. Obu ikwi. Obulu egbe. Ma obulu ihe ọzọ. Ọ dị mma n'izu ụka ọzọ anyị ga-abịa na radio Ọkalawa Onolu Tonimas. Akwana mmafu unu abụchi was when I see Rosia Dika one for the road, Cardi.